our motto is to solve problems through and through. We really want to raise the level of the entire industry. That is our commitment to the industry. The era of verified, while it adds value, is over, because the era of true check is really here. And next year, it is my promise to you that we're going to make it twice the size. We're going to be busy over here talking about the issues and how we're going to resolve those and truly, truly make a difference.
Thank you. Hi, guys. How are you all doing? Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we've certainly lived up to that promise. We have over 2,000 people in attendance today, so a round of applause for everybody over here taking the time out. And I would like to thank all of you for coming today and joining us in this celebration of UAE real estate with us at the second edition of the Bayut Big Broker event. My story started in the UAE back in 2014 when I moved here to take charge of a portal called Bayut. When I was coming here, a lot of people told me not to come. And I said, why is that? And they said, because there are already portals that are in the market, they claim leadership, and they say that they've won the market and they cannot be unseated. And that's a very valid argument. So as I thought about that, I actually looked at the industry, and I had an interesting observation. My observation was that there was a transformation going on from print to digital, and it wasn't complete. I mean, I think print was still relevant back then, for our industry, which has changed over the last 80 years. But I also did not see something. What did I not see? I did not see tech at the center of this transformation. And so I thought that's a great opportunity, because tech can truly change lives and make lives simpler. So I said, OK, let's go for it. Let's do it. And as soon as I said that, there was another problem. The other problem was we didn't have traffic. OK, what is traffic? Traffic is we didn't have partners like you, and then we didn't have consumers. I mean, we had a bit of traffic, but perhaps mostly irrelevant to most of the audience here. And that was, you can build the best tech in the world, but if you don't have traffic, if you don't have people who want to use it, there's no point. Great companies not only have great products, but they also have people who use them. So I said, OK, let's go about. Now we're going to solve this challenge. We're going to build the traffic. But we're never going to forget that we're a tech company first. Okay? We happen to be in the real estate industry, and we're going to solve challenges through tech, but we are a tech company first. So I'm very happy to share with you that today, with Bayut dubizzle, we have the largest real estate community on our platform. We have over 2,500 agencies and over 20,000 brokers in our network. And not only that, we've also been able to build the largest amount of traffic. Bayut alone is the largest real estate platform, but combined with dubizzle, we get over 6 million unique visitors that visit our platforms every single month. And if I were to put it a little bit differently, sorry, OK, it's not working. But if I were to put it a little bit differently, that is 3 out of 5 people in the UAE visit our platform every single month. OK, so in a few months, almost everybody touches our platform. Now, that's immense traffic. As I said, in building this traffic, we were never going to forget that at the core of us is tech. Our DNA is tech. So if I go back to 3 years, the first edition of B3DXB, we launched 4 products. We launched TrueCheck, floor plans, agent reviews, and smart leads. And for those of you who were there back then, when we launched floor plans, I mentioned that we had been working on them for the last 2 years. So we started the work back in 2016, 2017. And that's what I mean. We continue to invest in tech, even though the fruits were going to come much later. Also, launching products is one thing, but getting people to adopt them is a whole separate thing, okay? Because it's difficult. It requires change. It requires effort on your behalf, and it requires effort on our behalf, and habits are difficult to change. But if I take one of our star products that we launched back in B3DXB 2019, it will be TrueCheck. Because with TrueCheck, we try to solve the problem through and through. Not just the fact that the property is available, but also, not the fact that property was actually an actual property, but also that it's available. And I'm very proud to share today that we have over 1,700 agencies that have adopted TrueCheck. We get over 40,000 checked listings every month on the platform. And we get over 6,500 TrueCheck activations per month. And that number is growing very, very fast. And that's great. Why is that great? Because it is very rewarding for the brokers who do it, because it puts you right up on the top. And it's also very rewarding for the people who use it, the consumers, because those are the ones who matter the most. We're in the service industry, because they see authentic listings that are actually available. And it has taken a lot of effort, and we'll continue to invest in this. I firmly believe that it has become the #1 validation solution in the country, and I'm very happy to share that it's going to be coming to dubizzle very soon. All right. And that's going to be great for you guys, because for those of you who follow good practices, your properties are going to get a lot more exposure and a lot more leads on dubizzle as well. And just one small comment over here. When we did this, when we launched TrueCheck, we actually gave a filter straight up on the website that allowed people to just look at TrueCheck properties first. That we did even at our own commercial interest. It didn't matter if it was a regular listing, a hot listing, or a signature listing. We said you should be able to see actual authentic content that is available first. All right. So that's what's been going on up until now. So the next question is, where do we go from here? The rest of my presentation, I'm going to talk about products that we're announcing today. We're launching 5 products this year, and I'm going to talk about those. But before I do that, I want to talk about some concepts that apply to tech, how they apply to tech, and then the problems they can help us solve for our industry and help you be more efficient, close more deals, make more money. Okay? The first concept I want to talk about, or the word, is simple. A very easy word to understand. But it's actually a pretty difficult word when it comes to tech, because if you want to simplify things, something complex to simple, it is very difficult to do. We use a lot of gadgets. We have a lot of apps. So I don't think anybody would disagree with me if I said, our lives are easier than they were maybe 10 years ago. But they're still pretty complicated. Now, if you could smash all of that into a single app, your life would get easier. Let me give you a great example, okay? I graduated from university back in '99. I think I've just given away my age. But I graduated from university back in '99, and I could finally afford to buy a cell phone because I was working, I had some money. Back then, we still used to have landlines, And I bought a phone. The first phone I bought was a Samsung flip phone. It had about 12 digits on it, and each digit represented one key, one number, and 3 alphabets. So if I wanted to type something, I would have to press the number, in text, I had to press the same key 3 times. Then after that, I got a Razr flip phone. That was the coolest thing because it was just really cool looking. And it was lighter, so it was less weight in your pocket. But then came the next generation of phones, which were the Palm and some of the other brands, which actually added a keyboard. And then came a phone that kind of really took the industry by storm, the professionals, which was BlackBerry, because it had a keyboard, but it made emailing very easy. And then came one phone, which took everything away. And that was the iPhone. Not because it tried to simplify something that was already going on. It actually took 3 separate devices and put them into one. It took a messenger, it took the iPod and the phone and put it into a single device. See, but it was difficult to do. But look at the results. Okay, so please keep that in mind as I talk about the next thing that we're looking at doing. When Bayut and dubizzle came together, skip that. When Bayut and dubizzle came together, we saw a lot of tools. There were tools to manage Bayut, and there were tools to manage dubizzle, some for listing management, and some for CRM. And that's a lot of burden on all of you. Okay, that doesn't really, that's not a very tech-smart thing to do, to have 10 tools to do 10 different things. Even the data is not even connected. It lives in separate silos. So I'm very happy to share that this year, we're going to make all of these tools go away, and we're going to introduce one tool. It's going to be used for listing management. It's going to be used as a CRM. It's going to have all the data in it. And it's all going to be interconnected. It's going to be portfolio. There's going to be a desktop version, and there's going to be an app. Okay? And all of those tools will combine into this. So very excited about this. Let's look at the word simple again. So now, when we think about simple, and we thought about simple from the perspective of how you all do your business, we said, OK, how can we ease some of the pain? So let's talk about the very basic element of what happens today, which is you have a buyer who's looking on the portal and generates a lead. OK? What happens next? Now, we introduced smart leads to give you more information back in 2019. But typically, what you would do is you would contact that lead, you would have a discussion, you would get the requirements, jot them down. And I believe the next thing you're going to do is, OK, if this property doesn't suit this potential buyer, then I'm going to try to find them some other properties. And you're going to go to the portal, and you're going to start looking through properties. And you're going to start sending links one by one. Oh, this one looks like might be interesting to you. Or maybe you'll collect them together and send them in an email. Now, how is tech helping you in this? I don't think it is. How is this any different from just going back to the newspaper and looking through all the listings and taking clippings, taking snapshots, and sending those across? It's not very much different, right? So we thought about this, and we said, OK, we need to solve this problem for you guys. So I'm happy to share that we're going to be introducing something that we're calling SmartShare. All right? So how does that work? So let's say you have a buyer who has generated a lead, and you're going to get a message with some details about the lead. But we're also going to send you another message, and it's going to have a link. When you open that link, it's going to give you a dashboard like this. It's going to say, this buyer was interested in property that you have, but hey, you know what? You have other properties that are similar to this property. And they're all going to be listed over there. There's also going to be filters. You can look at your listings, or you can look at your entire company's listings. The next thing to do would be is you would say, OK, I think these 3, 4, 5, 6 other properties are interesting, so you're going to select some properties. Then you might want to add some additional notes. So you will go ahead and add some additional notes over there. And then you will say, share the link. The link will go back to that potential buyer. And when they click on that link, they're going to see something like this. Hey, I inquired about this property, but this agent has sent me some more properties. And then the buyer can just reply over there, and your conversation can go on. Now think about a world where they cannot just reply saying, yeah, I like the first one or second one. They might be able to tell you, I want to do a tour of this one. I don't like this one. Please take it out. And perhaps, if you can send me the details on the third one. All of that can happen online. Okay? So, and this history is going to be recorded. You can always go back. And the most powerful thing about this is that it's all visual. It's in front of you. You don't have to sift through 6 links to figure out which property the buyer is talking about. And that's what I meant by tech has to solve these challenges. OK. So the next concept that I want to talk about is connect. We live in a very connected world. OK, all of you, most of you, I believe some of you didn't raise your hands when you were asked if you take a selfie, but minus those people, maybe most of you, have social platforms and you're connected with everybody on a personal level, right? When I went to school in the US back in the mid-90s, I used to call my family once a week, every Saturday, for 2 minutes exactly. Why 2 minutes? Because it was $1.50 a minute, so that was 3 minutes. Oh, sorry, $3. And that's all I could afford. By the way, McDonald's was for $3.24. So it was like, do I grab a burger or do I get family? But obviously, I did call the family. It was important to let them know I was OK. That was the world we lived in, and now we live in a pretty well-connected world. But if I talk about the professional world, how well-connected are you? All of you are over here. How well-connected are you with each other? How do you collaborate? Okay. I mean, there are some platforms which will let you connect with each other, but those are more for expressing your opinions or where you are in progression of your journey, career. But how do we collaborate as an industry? So I'm very happy to announce that we're going to be launching a feature called ProConnect. The idea behind ProConnect is that, let me tell you how it's going to help you from a work perspective. So let's say you have a buyer or a client, an existing client, and the client reaches out to you and says, look, I have some money. Can you please find me a villa somewhere? This is my budget. And you say, OK. Again, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the websites. You're going to start searching for stuff. And you're going to identify properties. And you're going to share some links. We just talked about SmartShare that can help you solve some of that. But how is that, again, where does the tech come in? How is that helping you? OK? And so if I go to this slide over here, what you need to do is you need to connect with everybody else who's selling a property. Most of those people are going to be represented by agents. So you need to be able to connect with this entire community of agents. And that's what ProConnect is going to help you do. How is it going to do that? So let's say that client of yours has told you what they want, OK? And they're going to tell you all the requirements that they have, their budget, kind of bedrooms, and all that stuff. And you will be able to, through ProConnect, go into Bayut Pro, which later will become Profolio, and specify, this is a client that I have. He's looking to buy a property, villa, 4 beds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Some extra notes around what the person has told you. And you can hit Post Now. Now, what's going to happen as soon as you hit Post Now, it's going to go to every broker that's in our network who has anything that's matching this. They're going to get a message that there's a potential buyer who's working through this agent looking to buy something. Okay? And they're going to get a screen, which I'm going to show you. This is the screen of the person who's posting. The next screen is of the person who you're of the seller's agent, who's going to get something like this. It's going to say, look, there is somebody out there who is representing a buyer, and he's looking for this. You have 3 properties that match that requirement. And you can click on that, and you will go to this. You can actually look at the properties that you have that match that, and you can read the extra notes, and you can say, OK, yeah, I think I can service this need, and you can contact the buyer's agent. And again, this discovery, this journey can continue over here on the platform. So hopefully, you will be able to get to the network a lot faster and you can make two parties very happy, which is the buyer and the seller, as opposed to going and sifting through all the properties and finding the right ones and then sharing those back. This is the power of tech. This is what I meant by tech has to be at the core of everything that we do for us. We're a tech company solving real challenges. This should be coming this year, so we're very excited about getting this out. The next concept is persuade, okay? What does it mean? It means to convince somebody of your point of view. Now, if your point of view is, especially in our industry, if it's not based on the interest of your client, and it's not backed up by actual data, then it's very difficult to convince somebody, to persuade somebody. And how does this apply to our industry? Okay. Well, all of us over here, or I'd say all of you, sometimes you represent a buyer and sometimes you represent a seller. Now, when somebody's selling a property, it is an emotional event, so they have some expectation. And when somebody's buying a property, they want a great deal. And that's true whether you're buying a property or a car or anything. So what really happens? What happens is that it creates a price gap. I'm sure this is very common. You've dealt with it before. And who has to find middle ground over here? All of you. You have to convince the parties to reach some common ground so a transaction can take place. You bridge the gap. Let me share a personal story with you. When I was in the US and I was selling my first home, I met with an agent. She was my agent. She showed me some recent transactions, and I said, oh, that's okay, I understand. And she said, we should price the property here. And I said, you know what? My house is special. I've done more over here. It's better than all of those houses. It should be priced here. So I priced it 15% higher. Then the property sat on the market for 2-3 weeks with very few viewings. And in a market like the US, if the house sits longer on the market, you start building a bit of a negative perception because perhaps there's something wrong with the house that nobody wants to buy it. So she came in again, and we sat again, and she showed me the same data again. And I said, you know what? Maybe I was a bit emotional. I think you're right. The data suggests this. We lowered the price to where she said, and the property sold within 2 weeks. It was backed by actual data, okay? And so how do we solve this problem for this market? Because the challenge is the data actually is lying all over the place. It's not clean. It's not connected together that well. And we're going to solve that problem for you. We're going to help you understand the market like never before so you can actually start doing this a lot better. And I'm very happy to introduce and very happy to share with you that we're going to be introducing a feature called TruView. So how does it work? Let me explain to you how it works, and then I will show you how it's going to make your life and lives easier. So TruView, so think about any location, okay? Think about you have a client interested in buying or selling. In this case, let's say Arabian Ranches. So I'll type in Arabian Ranches, and I'll get a visual of Arabian Ranches. Now, what you're seeing over there, all of those numbers and the subcommunities are the transactions that have taken place in that subcommunity, in all of the subcommunities, over a certain period of time. But let's say I'm actually more interested in Al Reem because that's where my client is, so I can go after Al Reem. Now, as soon as I dig into Al Reem, guys, this hasn't been done before. We're going to show you all of the transactions that have taken place against the properties where they are. So these are all the transactions over a period of time. You can click one, and you will be able to see extra information this time. What else can you see? I mean, you can see some pictures, you can see a floor plan, but there's also some history over there. Okay? So let's look at that. So the property got listed for sale. Then there was a price drop, and then it sold. So how do we know what's happening over here? Because when you put a property that's checked or true check, when we know when it made it to the portal, so we know when it was listed, we know when you do price changes, and we're very tightly integrated on the transaction data, so we know when it sold. So now you have 3 pieces of information. You have the asking price, the selling price, and the number of days the property sat on the market. Okay? That gives you a lot of power. So if I go back out one screen behind this, or sorry, one step, if I navigate outwards, and I can see all the transactions in Al-Reem, now there's going to be some extra information against each property. There's days on market, there's the asking price, and there's the selling price. Not only that, on the top, we're going to show you the trend. You're going to have the average asking price, transaction average price. Those are fine. They're okay indicators, kind of indicators of where this area is going. But the one that I like the most is the average days on market. Because if Al-Reem, the average days of market for a property is 50 days, and it's moving downwards, okay, it's moving towards 30 days, that means the market is getting more active. That means your seller can actually probably get a bit more. And if it's moving in the opposite direction, that means properties are sitting longer, which means you need to have a word with your seller and tell them they need to be more reasonable. Now, you could actually just take this data, and we could generate a PDF for you, and you could share it with your client. Okay. But that's pretty boring, right? So, and frankly, that's not tech, in my opinion. That's a document generator. So how are we going to approach this problem? We're going to approach this problem by allowing you to select a few properties that actually make sense when it comes to your client. We're going to allow you to add some notes to that, and then we're going to ask you, or you can go ahead and share the link with your client. So what happens when the client gets the link? When the client gets the link and they click on it, they're going to see a dashboard like this. So the 4 or 5 properties that you shared, they can access the same information that you just looked at. That's the power of data in the hands of clients. And now your job of actually having that chat and negotiating will be a lot easier. And I think it will help you bridge the gap faster, and you will close more business, and that's going to be great for everybody. And I think we can start coming, this is how tech can actually really, really help the process and start making us a more mature market. This should be coming this year. All right. So the 4th concept is recognize. What does recognize mean? It means to identify and acknowledge somebody who does outstanding work. And that's typically followed up by reward. Now, there's a couple of things that we need to be very clear about over here with recognize. One is you need to measure performance. Okay? It cannot be based on my opinion. If I say, oh, I think you're good, does that really mean you're good? That's what I think. And the other thing is, it needs to be a fair system. It needs to be a fair system so everybody gets treated equally. Because the best really need to shine. They need to come through. And when that happens, when the best actually shine through and they come through, they push the entire crowd with them. Okay? That's how life works. So, we thought hard about this, and we said, okay, what can we do over here to make sure that we recognize and reward the best amongst you? Because you are doing something that's actually helping our industry. You're helping it gain a better reputation, people building more trust. So, very happy to announce that we were launching something that we're calling ProBoard. What is ProBoard? So ProBoard essentially is going to be a leaderboard. It's only for the brokers. It's not meant for the public. And we're going to show who is the best amongst you. You all can see each other. You can try to be on the top over there by just working hard. Okay? It's going to be a fair system. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, why it's going to be a fair system. So if I was to look at this, and then I clicked on my profile, for example, I would end up over here. And it would tell me, what am I doing, and what do I need to do to go further up over there, right? So things like, are you a responsive agent? Do you have quality listings? Are you an area expert? How do you become an area expert? Certainly not by paying for a product. You know, that's not an area expert. If you do that, if we say, OK, you're an area expert because you can buy this area expert product and pay us some money, and we'll show you as an area expert, well, that reflects poorly on us and on you, because you might not be an area expert. But we have launched so many tools which allow you to play with the data, which allow you to actually help close business faster. Technology, machine learning, if there's a word that you heard, can actually start collecting this and start forming a score for everybody over here. And when it does that, it makes it a very fair system. Because the little guy needs to have just as much chance at this as the big guy. Not too long ago, I was the little guy, standing right in front of you. So everybody needs to get an equal shot at this. We're going to highlight these badges. You can actually go, and we're going to explain to you how you earn them. And once you earn them, let's talk about the reward. So what's the reward? So at a very basic level, what we're going to do is, for every listing that you see on Bayut dubizzle, we're going to put your badges right above those buttons which people use to get in touch with you. That builds more trust in you as an agent. So they'll be more inclined to actually reach out to you. These badges, if you earn them, will show. If you don't earn them, they will not show. That's as simple as that. But more importantly, we're actually going to put you right up there. Exactly where? So let's say somebody's searching in Dubai Marina. We're going to put you right next to the first listing, up there, and tell people these are the top 5 agents in Dubai Marina. That's going to be based on the leaderboard for Dubai Marina. If you're the top agent in Dubai Marina, you're going to be up there with a button that people can actually reach out to you directly. If they can't find what they're looking for, they should be able to reach out to you directly. Okay? And even if that's not the case, the best need to be highlighted. It's going to be a very fair system. Any one of you, anybody in this room or out not, can actually get up there. And we're super excited about it. And again, as I mentioned, we're putting our commercial interest aside. We can sell this space. I don't believe that. Because we need to raise the bar of the entire industry. We need to be at top-notch level of service. We live in a world-class city. Our service needs to be matching that. All right, so the last topic I have is change. It's a simple word, again. But if you notice, there's change happening around us all the time. If it wasn't, then all of us would not be sitting here, probably sitting in caves and waking up every morning and try to figure out how to light a fire and repeat. Okay? Change moves. The universe itself is changing. Every second, every minute, the universe is expanding. Now, this is the tech part in me that's going to come out for all of you. How has the portal industry changed? Now, this is not on you guys. This is on us. How have the portals changed over the years? I've looked at all the portals across the world. They are still exactly the same. If you don't change, if you don't innovate, you become redundant. You become redundant, you wither away. Innovation has to be at the core. So we said, OK, forget everybody else. We are tech. We're going to change. And how are we going to change? because we have to think about 5, 10 years ahead. And for change, you have to start somewhere. As I mentioned, as even the phone story, you change in steps. You don't just go take one large step. So we said, OK, we need to change. We need to change the experience around portals. Now, where we started was we said all of us live interesting lives. Typically, most of us don't have a single point of interest. I go to work. I drop off my kids to school. I have at least 2 points of interest. Maybe somebody goes to the golf course. Maybe both spouses work. People have different points of interest. And today, if you go to portals, you kind of have to do all of your research before you search. OK? For me, it blows my mind in the wrong way. Now, if you have a couple of points of interest, OK, as I have gone through different phases of life, certain things have become more important. I wanted to be closer to certain places. So if you have 2 points of interest, how do you know where do you need to get a property? Okay? I mean, one way to see is you don't know where it is, but even if you select a property, you could say, OK, this property is 6 miles from that point of interest, or 7 miles from that point of interest. Now, I want to make a very clear distinction over here. As humans, distance is not what we should be measuring. It's time. Let me give you an example. Back in the day, in the old societies, everybody lived in a very close-knit society. So you could just walk, and you could just quickly get around and see, go to the store, go see the friends. But the world is expanding. Urbanization has caused us to move apart. We have to drive around. And if you're just measuring distance, then it's misleading. When I bought my first house, the one I told you I sold, it was 3 miles away from my work. So every day in, it was 10 minutes. And every day back, it was 10 minutes. So I probably saved 40 minutes a day, which translated to 13 hours a month, which translated to about 6 days. 6 days of nothingness on the road had I not bought there. I went to London a couple of weeks ago. From Heathrow to Paddington, I was there in 15 minutes. I could have taken the car, but I took the train. It got me there a lot faster. So what matters is time, not so much distance. So we said, OK, if people are going to value time, which they do, and in the future they want to find a property, how can we help them that optimizes this based on a couple of points of interest? And I'm very happy to introduce to you Search 2.0. How's it going to work? Well, you're going to specify your 2 points of interest. In this case, I put a workplace. Well, that's where our office is. And I put a school. And then you're going to say, search, find me properties. It's going to show you all the properties. But please note over here, it's going to show you the travel time from those 2 points of interest. Now, this is a super hard problem. Think about it for a second. We get tens of thousands of users on the platform every day who have different points of interest, and they can specify whatever combination they want. We have to calculate that for all of the properties, and we have to show them instantly in their search how far are the 2 points of interest from that property. This hasn't been done before anywhere in the world. We're the first ones introducing this. And in the future, you will be able to change the commute hours. You could say, show me in rush hour what it looks like. Show me in non-rush hours. Okay, when I bought my first home, my realtor told me, go there in the morning and drive from there to work to see what the rush hour looks like. Not in this day and age, guys. Not in this day and age. Okay, there are going to be some other filters. You want to be closer to one point versus the other. You can do that. You want to reduce the max travel time. You don't want to be on the road for more than 20 minutes. You can do that, and it would update your results. This is going to be launching in June. So very excited about it. So, we launched 4 products at B3DXB 2019. We've launched, or going to be launching 5 products this year. But I want to mention something over here. None of these products, none, not even one, has any commercial bit tied to it. These are not for money. This is not to make extra money. Okay. This is our investment in you and in our industry. I have shared with all of you many times before, since the day I got here, that our fate is one. We are in the service industry. We exist between buyers and sellers. We will rise together, we will fall together. And we're going to continue to invest in making your lives simpler, in putting you in a more connected professional world, investing in tools that empower you with knowledge so you can negotiate, persuade, convince your clients, and help bridge that gap. We're going to reward the best of you in a very unbiased way, where the best of you will shine through. And we're going to change our industry and search altogether. And I firmly believe, that we're going to lead the way forward together. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the day.